Great. Okay, so I'm going to open up the floor for questions. Just note that I'll give priority to men, okay? Just know that because it's my turn. I've always wanted to do this. Each time you go to a speaking engagement, they'll tell you, women first, more women, more women. So we have more women here. So if men have anything, please put up your hands. I can assure you you'll get priority if you do ask. Okay, so we have 2 points, one on my left, which is your right, and then the other on the other side. So we'll start with you, ma'am.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Bumi Aboderi Chalabi. Mo, it's often said that the secrets of a person's success lies in their daily habits. Can you please share with us what are those consistent things that you do that drive you, that give you the strength that seems to be radiating from you? Like, what are the things that you do? If you could just give us like maybe 3 or 4. Thank you.
Do I answer one at a time? What are the rules?
Take 2 questions each, and then maybe one on this side and one on the other side, and that way you can answer 2 at a time. Sorry, please, can you ask your question?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Fadekemi Olumide Aluko. I am a school owner, educationist, lawyer, writer, and author. My question, Mo, is, you could call it cliche, but for as long as there are women living on this planet, work-life balance will always be a challenge. And I think it's related to the first question, but I want to hit the nail on the head. You have so much energy, you've achieved so much, and I know you're also a mother. I want to know, what is your system? How do you do it? How exactly do you do it on a daily basis to still keep going and be that multitasker and that mother? You know, I don't just want cliche advice. I want to know, what's the system? What's the system from morning till night?
Sorry, please.
What's the formula?
Sorry, Ms. Abudu, before you answer, I've been told that we should take 4 questions each. So let me ask one more and one more there, so we can do 4 to go. Please, can you ask your question?
Okay, right. My name is Debbie, founder of a customer experience management company called Niche. So my question is regards to partnerships. You talked about partnerships, and again, keeping it blunt and real, I've had times when I needed to partner with someone and I was sidelined. So I'm doing something again now. I'm trying to partner with people globally in building a customer experience structure here in Nigeria and even for Africa. And I'm having those same signs again, like you're bringing these guys into the country, and then before you know it, they've taken over the market. So where do you draw that line in identifying your partnerships? That's my question. Thanks.
Keep the questions brief. So
hello, Mo. My name is Tosin, and I've been privileged to actually encounter you on your journey. I remember when you were going to start, or maybe when you started thinking about setting up TV, I was working in a TV station called NN24, and you came around. And we know what happened with NN24, died along the line, and of course you've made a success of yours. What I want to ask is, and this is on the backdrop of being blunt, human beings are always scheming, especially in corporate places. They're constantly scheming. What do you do in situations whereby everyone around you is scheming? Do you just sit back, or do you actually, start to scheme along with them?
Okay, those are 4 questions. Okay. The first one was about daily habits. My daily habits are, well, I'll share them. The first thing I do is I wake up at about 4 a.m., send a bunch of emails, then I go back to sleep for about an hour, then I wake up and then I pray, and then I exercise. Then after I exercise, I have breakfast, and then my day begins, and it's meetings or one thing or the other. And that literally is my day. That is my day. I don't know if that is it in a nutshell. I'm a creature of habit. And no matter, even when I travel, I started organizing to have an instructor at the hotel I'm staying at, because it's when you travel that you eat more. So the only way for me to not come back 2 kgs heavier is to make sure somebody knocks on my door. So someone knocks on my door in Nigeria. My PA is here. Didn't you go online to go and look for instructors wherever I go? Dubai, New, anyway. Find me, and thank God they exist everywhere. So they come to your hotel, And thank God most decent hotels have a gym, and you work out. So my routine is do the emails, pray, exercise, get out of bed, and start my day. And I've started working from home quite a bit now. I used to really always go into the office, but I have a team, nearly a 200-man team, and I don't believe I need to be in the office 24 hours. I'm in a space where I can work and I can get things done and I can get a lot of thinking done. And then I go out for my meetings, and that's pretty much my day. Work-life balance was asked, the system. It is hard to find work-life balance, and if we're going to be blunt, it is difficult to be a working mother. I'm not going to say that there isn't a handbook on how to be the best mother in the world. I mean, you find you're a mother and you do the very, very best that you can, but there are lots of women in this room that are working mothers, and it's really just about finding what works for you. And for me, it's about having the right support. I found that my mother has always been there. Even if I don't have the necessary house helps I have, my mom will come around and she'll be there for me. It's about making sure that when my children need me, they come first. But I thank God that I have quite independent. I think children know when their mothers are working hard because they automatically become independent. They know that this woman, she has an agenda. So they too, pretty much, my kids are very independent. They're off and they're doing their own thing. And I've never really, I thank God for that, because I think sometimes, God shouldn't give you more than you can bear with. If I had difficult kids, I may not have been able to do the things I'm doing, but my kids have not been difficult. My son is excellent, my daughter, I just thank God for the kids that I have. Today is actually my son's 21st birthday. Last night, I made sure that I called him. I said, I won't be able to call you this morning. I'm going to be here. When I leave here now, I'm going to call him again. I arranged to make sure he had a cake. There are things that we can do now, thank God, with technology and all of those things. His cake is going to turn up at school today. Everything is going to be there. I'm not physically there, but even he is off doing his own thing with his friends. So even when he comes home for Christmas, I'm like, go ahead, Joe, because Temira is living here. He's like, Mom, I'm off, I'll see you soon. And I'm here for you. No, it's okay, Mom, I'll see you later. So it's okay, we're there when we need them. And I think there's a bit of a misconception at times about mothers that stay at home. What is the quality of time that they even have with their children? Because a lot of them are not even at home a lot of the time. They're out maybe having lunch or doing their hair or nails or doing one thing or the other. But we working mothers know that we're not there. So we make more of an effort to spend the quality time with our children that is needed and necessary for them to be able to grow. There are no fast, there's no sort of Panadol solution to being a working mom. It is hard, but I do believe that we have been given dreams that we need to be able to achieve, despite being a mother. Being a mother was one of my dreams. It was not my only dream. So therefore, I have a right to be a mother. And I have a right, to be able to find the support system to support my family and to also go out there and achieve the dreams and the things that are important to me. But no matter what, if I'm told to drop everything I have tomorrow for my kids, believe me, I will. And that is where you draw the line. When you get sidelined in a partnership, you need to have rules and procedures and legal agreements in place that don't sideline you. And when you bring a new company into the country, you make sure that you have exclusivity or some kind of partnership with them that forbids them from doing those things when you're bringing them in. And if they're not ready to sign, then maybe you walk away. Maybe they don't need you. But it's important that these things are done legally rather than just informally. So once it's done legally, then you should have recourse at the end of the day. Scheming. If someone is scheming, you better learn to scheme back. It's as simple as that. People are always scheming. I call scheming innovation. It's another word for innovation. Because what is scheming? They're trying to outdo you. So as much as they're trying to outdo you, you to try and outdo them. That's the simple answer I'd give to that.
Okay, can we put our hands together for her again? So we have only 15 minutes left. We have about 15 people trying to ask questions as well. Technically, that means if we give you a minute, then the time will be up. So
I will also give short answers.
Great. So what we'll do is, let's be very quick, concise, let's not waste too much time. And then after these that we see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, this is the last batch for this session, but you can actually meet more after the event for a one-on-one mentorship if you so want.
I'll do, really? Okay, no, I'll do, don't mind him.
I'm not a woman, so that's not going to work. Okay, so.
Right.
My name is Dr. Toyin Adenaike. I am the MD of Nayo Medical Center. My hospital actually featured in the film where the best man was treated and he was all wrapped up. That's
Thank
my
you.
hospital.
Thank you so much.
Nayo
Thank
Medical
you.
Center. So my question really is about pirating, because I know a little bit about your business, and I know one of the challenges, particularly in Nigeria, is pirating. And I suppose what I'm asking really is how we identify the key challenges that can make or break our businesses and how to deal with it. Thank you very much, and congratulations once again.
Hello Mo, hello House. My name is Chidima Okafo. I'm the MD and CEO of Hairtopia Nigeria. I run a hair company and I provide hair services to women. I'd like to ask you a question. Initially, when you started speaking, you spoke of how you started 2 different business ideas and they failed woefully from what you said. So I would like to know, what are your triggers when you fail, when you start and fail a business or a business idea or a plan? You spoke about putting everything we have out there. How do you pick yourself up after each hit? How do you manage to, start all over again? Thank you.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Bimbo Duwale. I'm a real estate professional. My question is, you started your career as an HR consultant, and you were that for quite a long time. How do you break out of a profession that everyone knows and identifies you with, and into a new profession? And how do you convince the investors and the people that you're planning to work with that you're capable of doing a new venture?
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll take, if you don't mind, we'll take one more person there, and then we'll come back next round.
Okay. Good morning. Hope I'm right. My name is Dr. Chidima Ajayi. I'm a family physician, presently at the Lagos University Teaching Hospital, and also building a fashion brand. I was once a guest on your show, Moments with Mo. Not sure if you remember, and I really, really admire your person. My question is, and I'm sure I'm not speaking for myself, I'm speaking on behalf of every woman in this hall right now. I know and I've observed that a lot of women who are successful are single. That's my observation. For you to succeed as a woman in Nigeria, you need to really, be single. But how do you, not to be single, no, I didn't.
Quiet please, quiet please.
How do you face challenges? When you're a married woman, sometimes it's difficult for you to just fly. As much as you dream, you have to carry and keep looking behind and watching to see how you can carry your husband along, because sometimes men can drag you backwards. So what advice would you give women who are in such situations? Thank you.
Mo, did you hear that question?
Why do you carry your husband alone? Okay, so piracy, because we have to be really quick here. On the issue of piracy, it's difficult to fight piracy because our government, there's no policy in place to fight it. There's policy, but there's no execution of the policy. So the private sector themselves are those that are involved in ensuring that they can fight piracy. And the only thing we are doing to fight piracy is to ensure that we have our processes set up. If you know, the wedding party is on the streets. But thank God they let us make decent money before it came out. But what about if we hadn't? It would have been a complete disaster. So the lesson learned, why it's important to learn the lesson, is to ensure that your post-production, you have a safe house for post-production, so that nobody can have, absolutely no one has access. Because if you look at it, it's not the cinema copy that's being pirated. It was the Toronto copy, because it actually still has in the corner post-production in progress. They don't care even if it's half the film, they'll still pirate and put it out. But the thing is that the real copy wasn't, because it was protected. Everything in every cinema, we invested in the technology to ensure that it couldn't be copied. But the copy that was taken to the festival was copied. So therefore, that was on a hard drive. So somewhere in our chain, within all of the partnerships, somebody disappointed us. So it's important to ensure that, because we are going to have to fight the piracy internally, because the government is not fighting it. They're just paying lip service to doing it. So we need to make sure that our processes are tighter and that you have all kinds of remote control. So you've got cameras, people can't carry their bags in, there's no Wi-Fi in the environment where they're working. So those are the steps we're taking to ensure that we can fight piracy. When you fail, how do you pick yourself up? You have no choice than to pick yourself up. you have zero choice. You're just going to have to find it within you to just know that you have to pick yourself up. I mean, and you learn your lessons. I mean, every time I failed, I learned a lesson. And I went out there and said, okay, I'm going to try again. It's not how many times you fail that's important. It's the number of times you're able to get up and do something productive thereafter and the lessons learned thereafter. Many people fail to their first, second, third time in business, but it's the number of times they can pick themselves up from. Breaking out of HR, I think you have to just have that thing that's burning in your gut that says it's time to go. And not everybody is an entrepreneur, so we need to recognize that. Some people are just meant to be in paid employment. Some people are meant to be part of a team. Some people are meant to lead the team. You're going to have to look at your DNA and decide on, do I have the right DNA to break out? Is it the right time to break out? So it's really about answering all of those questions before you decide to go out there. And convincing investors is about making sure you've done your homework. They're going to ask you for numbers, return on investment. So if you go in there telling them, you're going to make them 100 naira, you better know that they're going to cut it by 25 naira. Can you still make a profit at 25? So the sensitivity analysis on any cash flows you do, I always cut it down to worst case scenario so that I can tell an investor that, listen, even if I'm getting a 2% return for you, you're going to make money. So those are some of the key things, because investors want to make a return on that's why they're investors, they're investing in your business. Now, being single and being married and carrying your husband along, everybody's situation in this life is going to be different. Some husbands are going to support their wives. For the better part of my business, I was actually married. When I was at ExxonMobil, when I set up VLA, when I did Oakwood Park, and I have a very supportive husband and ex-husband. And it's important to understand the reasons why you are no longer, because I'm divorced, and it's not a secret. But it's important to know the reasons why. It's not because he didn't support me. There were other reasons why. But the thing is that it's important for you to understand that the partner that you decide that you want to spend the rest of your life with has the same vision as you do, has the same dreams as you do. But I find that a lot of younger people today are just rushing into marriage, and they're going to pick up the pieces later. And, then is it because I want to have a wedding? I want to have a marriage? So it's really about understanding that you have the same vision and the same purpose with the person that you're in bed with so that those things can work. And I think really that is really the key question. And women, we're very intuitive. We know that this thing is not going to work or is going to work. But we somehow decide that I'm going to change him. Everybody else has not changed him. You are magic, and you're going to change him. So sometimes, it's a bitter pill to swallow, but we're going to have to swallow those pills about making the right decisions in our lives. And I think it really begins and ends with the decisions that we make. You make the right decision, you have the right partner, and then your business will thrive and it will support you.
Great. And before I take the next question, I also want to emphasize on two things you said, which are very important. Failure is not a problem. Please remember that there's nothing wrong with failing, because many people don't start because they're afraid to fail. But they don't understand that there are things that you learn from failure that success will never teach you. So that's one point that she's made that's very, very important. The second thing is that your status, whether married or not, shouldn't affect your success. Because many people live, somebody said to me, he said, you Nigerians, all you think about is marriage. Like marriage is as good as getting a degree or it is not the end. But people think that once you're married, game over, happily ever after. It shouldn't affect your career. You should be able to get the balance. And of course, the woman who has done it properly has given us some more perspective. So, the lady over there.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Vivian Agbaza. I work with a property development company. About a year ago, we faced a major crisis which has actually affected our brand. My question is, how do we, as a serial entrepreneur, how do you go about changing brand perception and regaining confidence? Thank you very much.
Great question. Yes.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much, Mo. Thank you for sharing your life with us. My name is Mmotamba Malo. I run a company called Jumbo Sports, so we import gym equipment and we build gym, home and commercial. You said everything you do, you must find God's purpose for you. And then you say you're a serial entrepreneur. Okay, now would you, just to cut out all the long bit, Would you go into mining, for instance, tomorrow if you found out you had a gut feeling to go to mining?
Into what?
Mining, oil mining. You know, everything you've done more or less after you left paid employment just adds up. But would you suddenly go into mining, for instance? Thank you.
Okay, if you don't mind, I'll come back then, yeah.
Good morning, all. My name is Gloria Idiahi, PBL Event. My question is, how have you been able to survive the storm of different businesses? And also, please tell us your unique selling points. Thank you.
My name is BC Alabi Williams, Lighthouse Options, media practitioner. Mo, you've done so very well for yourself, and I know you've been, all of us in this hall, we're very, very proud of you. You've combined beauty, brains, intelligence, and success. Thank you. God bless you. My question is this. In my short life, I've seen partnerships of 15, 20, 30 years that failed. What do you think went wrong? Because these are people who have shared values and strength, like you shared in your presentation. So what went wrong after so many years? And how do you guide against it? Thank you.
So your question, sorry, ma, your question is what could go wrong in partnerships? Because Mo is not clairvoyant, she wouldn't know what happened in the past. Okay, how about you, ma'am?
Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Foluke Akimoladu. I'm the managing solicitor of Trison Law Chambers. I'm a lawyer. My question is, over time, I've had this experience of people not understanding the value of intangible services. That's things you can't see. So from your consultancy experience, how do you market things that people cannot touch? You can, I mean, if you're buying goods and things like that, people can see what you're selling, but if you're selling something that has to do with processes or legal documentation, people don't really understand that it's necessary. Thank you.
Okay, so Mo, over to you.
All right, very quickly. Changing brand perception can be very, very difficult. It's you know, because once someone has formed an opinion about who you are or what your brand is, what do you then do? But we've seen major corporations that have had serious issues with their brand, but they've basically just gone out there to rebrand. And the thing is that people forget things, the human mind forgets things very quickly, strangely. So it's really about, and in the world of advertising, they say that you need to run an advert at least 6 to 8 times a day for people to really sort of connect with the brand. So when you meet these ad agencies, they'll run a 3-month campaign, literally 6-month campaign. They'll have activations around it and all sorts of things around it. So as small as you are as an organization, you're going to have to take some of those key lessons and see how you can also rebrand, be it through the world of social media, press releases, little giveaways and things like that. There's no Panadol solution, as I said, to rebranding. It is a process that you have to go through. It is a process. That's why there are PR consultants out there. There are crisis management consultants out there that manage those things. That's their expertise. And you're going to have to engage with some of those to help change brand perception. And the thing about brand perception is find something big to bring into the market. Your brand value will just simply go up like that. So the great thing about rebuilding the brand is to find that product that's going to give you the opportunity to really reach your audiences and your clients and customers all over again. Would I go into mining? If it pays, yeah. I mean, if God says go into mining and there's an opportunity, I mean, of course, it's not anything that I've ever done, but again, it's about being in bed with the right people and always finding expert skills, because we don't always have the skills necessary to run the businesses that we're into. When I set up Ebony Live Television, I didn't. I'd never done television before. So I therefore had to go out and look for those that were skilled in the world of TV, that know more about TV than I do. Until tomorrow, they're telling me things about TV that I don't know because I'm still learning in the world of television. So it's really about, you can go into any business, you know, but it's really about making sure you have the right team of experts around you. Weather, survive the storm. Can't even read my own writing here. What is my unique selling point? I think my own unique selling point is the fact that I'm very persistent, and I'm very consistent as well. So I will go after the same thing. I will not stop going after it until literally I see absolutely zero results. And sometimes I don't smell the coffee very quickly. I mean, I can be at it for months and years at it, because there's nothing you want to do that's going to give you instant success. You're going to have to work through the processes of becoming successful at that thing. And even Ebony Live TV, yeah, I mean, it's okay, but believe me, it's not where I want it to be. Until everybody in Nigeria knows about Ebony Live TV, we have so much work to do. So we've got to keep making great programs, keep reaching out. So we have to be really persistent and consistent with our business of film and television. As it is now, we're going into production this month with two more films that are coming out this year, because we need to build the Ebony Life film brand as well as the TV brand so they can work together. The question on partnerships, I can't really answer that because I don't know what they went through in terms of why those partnerships did not work. I mean, some things are so personal that they're never going to share with you why after 30 years it didn't work. But sometimes we as women put up with a lot of things, and then it's only 30 years later you're like, it's the last straw, I'm out of here, or whatever the case may be. So in some cases it's been brewing, it's been coming, and they've just at some point taken the decision to do something about it. I think intangible services are really selling now. I think we now understand the value of those intangible services, that we need to pay for them. There was a time when the events management business did not exist in Nigeria. You go and rent a canopy, you go and rent a chair, you're going to cook the food. But I think no matter who we are now, we don't want to deal with that. You want someone that you can give that headache to, and you're ready to pay for that event management service. You can't hold on to it, but it is a service that we all know that we need so you can focus on enjoying your day. So I think that intangible services work in the world of consultancy. Vic Lawrence is still going, thank God, how many years later. So it's about providing service that is needed. And as the business environment changes, which it has done significantly, the business of providing intangible services, I think, has really come to stay. Even architects, there was a time when you wouldn't want to pay an architect to draw you. If you don't draw, they're not going to they won't do anything for you. I mean, it's gotten to the point whereby you have to pay your lawyer, because if you don't pay your lawyer, we have 3 lawyers in Ebony Live Television, drafting agreements and doing all kinds of things. It is a service we need to pay for because it's needed. We have a HR manager that's making sure that things are getting done. So all of those services are critical to our survival and to running your business efficiently. It's important to have those services.
Do you guys want to clap, or that wasn't good enough? Can you remember that when Mo came on stage, she said, oh, she was nervous. Do you believe her? That's all. So, Mo, don't worry, you're a pro, okay? You're an expert in these things. But just to answer something around partnership, I think there's something, she already answered it earlier, you did. You said, get good lawyers, get good agreements, also understand that there should be an exit strategy for every partnership. And I think the last point is that you should also have in mind that partnerships can change. When situations change, partnerships change. And I'll give you a simple example. If Ebony Live TV was doing only Christian gospel programs, and then she becomes a Muslim, bye-bye Christian programs, and then the partner says, well, I'm a Christian, so I can't deal with that. So things will change. So you need a good lawyer who can look at all the scenarios and allow you to exit properly. Over to you, Ma.
Hi. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. My name is Esma Igoni. I'm in my early 20s. I'm a fresh graduate, so I'm a bit nervous.
Wow.
I'm trying to get my confidence right. Sorry, Gretch.
Please clap for her. Clap for her. It's not easy.
Okay. Thank you very much. I started the business while in school. I thank God for the little progress I've made. It's actually a cake business, a McLeod cake bar. But right now, I'm at the edge of finding my DNA, like you said. I realize I'm multi-talented, and I'm trying to not drive my energy to different places. I'm trying to find my direction and my focus. And obviously, I see lots of mothers in this room, so I guess they've gone through my process and what I feel right now. Basically, I have a passion in education. I have my passion in in other areas, which I can't really mention, but I'm still trying to find my purpose. My question specifically is, what steps and strategy do you advise I need to take to find my DNA and my purpose? Thank you.
Hello. Okay, so just to reiterate, you're saying, sorry, madam, your question is what steps to find your DNA? Okay, great.
On purpose.
Find our purpose and our DNA. Okay, great. How about you?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Esther Alade. I work for HTV. I'm a sales and acquisition executive there in the UK. You mentioned that you came from the UK, you were there. What I wanted to know is, what was the deciding factor for you? And why did you come back? And for someone who's thinking about coming back, what should I look out for? And how did you prepare yourself in terms of coming back?
Okay, so I'll answer that for you. Just come back. We'll deal with the rest of it. Okay, yeah.
Actually, I came back 9 years ago, so I'm still here. My name is Rita Okoye, and I am the CEO of Majestically Rare. I'm also the founder of a movement called Raising Confident Girls. Now, we have a lot of discussions on our forum, and one of the things that we talked about yesterday was authenticity. And I wanted to ask you, Mo, in terms of authenticity, especially as a woman in Lagos with cultural norms and everything, how do you be yourself? Thank you.
Okay. You, ma'am.
Good morning. My name is Uyoyo Ero. I'm a lawyer and also a WIMBIZ mentee. My question is this. Today, like in our society, you see that it's easier to, like say, go forward, progress, when you have a good education. Sometimes you see a lot of people coming out from maybe the US, the UK, to start businesses and stuff. Now, once in a while, you see scenarios like Olajumoke, the bread seller who becomes a model and it's news. You see maybe people like Whiskey, the Surulere boy, turns to a superstar and it's news. Now the question is this, there are so many talented women out there who don't have the godfather, the godmother, who don't have that university education, maybe a foreign degree or something, a job. They don't even have the money to do what they know they can do, to follow their dreams and aspirations. They have no one encouraging them. What's your advice for them? How do they move from that point of being a dreamer to an achiever? Thank you.
Steps to finding your DNA and your purpose. It's not easy. And I think I mentioned that as I ended. That finding your purpose is one of the most difficult things. It really is. But once you find it, then you need to be able to hold on to it and make sure that you're able to live it. But finding it is not easy. And I know that when I was 21, I wanted to, when I was 21, I didn't think I'd be doing what I'm doing now. And I think that when you're young, it's an opportunity for you to dream and look at as many opportunities as possible that you can put out there. It's only when you're sort of, and never stop. I mean, I decided that I was going to go into the world of television. I was 40 plus when I decided that I wanted to start Moments with Mo. So I think it's about, sometimes, I don't know who said it, but it says that think whatever it is that you want to do, whatever you're afraid of doing the most is really the thing that you need to be doing. So I think if everybody shuts their eyes and you really think about something that you fear the most, that you've always wanted to do, and you've never really had the guts to do, that is really, truly, I think, the thing that you should be doing. And I think we can all shut our eyes and think of one thing that I want to be this thing. And a lot of us are not living our dreams because we're too scared, we're too afraid to move into that space of doing it. What are people going to say? I've worked here for so many years, I've done this. Why is our focus? They don't care. As soon as they've moved on. It's your life. So I think we need to think about the things that we fear the most. And there is something that each of us fear doing. And I think that is really, truly, possibly our purpose. That's what I happen to believe. Because I tend to go after the things that scare me the most. And those are the things that I try to work on with regards to seeing how I can make them happen. Moving back to Lagos. Actually, I moved back because my husband was moving back at the time. So at times you make decisions because your husband is making a decision, and it was the best thing for the family. And I came back to Nigeria in 1999, and I'm so happy that I did, you know. So that's why I came back, and I got a job at ExxonMobil, and from there on, you know, to God be the glory. But it's really about finding something would be the catalyst for you to come back. And I think that if I had to come back unmarried or on my own, it's going to be about planning my return. Am I going to live at home? Are my parents living in Lagos? What's the infrastructure that I'm going to meet on ground? Do I have a job to go to? What am I going to do when I get back? How am I going to survive? Because Lagos can be really tough. It's not like London where you can just get on the tube and you're off, you know.